All right, man. This is Chin Check, man. We want to talk about the newly crowned unified 130, 130 pound champion, Shakur Stevenson, man. Coming off a great win against Valdez, man. Of course, you saw our reaction video, what we thought about it. Masterclass performance, of course. Could have pushed the gas a little bit more. But other than that, it was just most definitely an A minus. I give him an A minus, B plus level, B plus for that fight. But Bob Arum, in talking about the fight, he's saying pretty much fuck unification when it comes to that division because the other two fighters, nobody really know. Nobody have no idea who they is. So us at CTB, I was like, he has a point because I have no idea who are the other champions at 130. So I looked them up, man, and I come up with a guy by the name of Roger Gutierrez and a guy named Kenchi Agawa. Uh, of the two names, the only person that has a name that maybe casual fans would know on their resume was Kenchi Agawa, who had a no contest with Tevin Farmer. It is no other name on these guys' resume that would garner any type of casual fan. So first question is, do you think Shakur Stevenson, coming off that performance, you think that's a good enough performance for him to go into a fight with one of these guys and actually make top rank some money? 'Cause that's all Bob care about.
Um, I don't think he can make money for top rank unless he's willing to take a pay cut, which I don't advise him to do.
Fuck no.
So I mean, I understand. I like his attitude because he's going for legacy. He wants to be undisputed 130, and I'm not gonna get mad at him for that. But it's gonna take some sacrifice for that fight to get made. He probably gonna have to make a little bit less than what he's willing to make. And Bob is gonna have to be willing to lose a little bit of money for the long-term game, which Bob is not known to do. He wants to win every time he puts the event together. But him becoming undisputed and having it as a title could catapult his career in the future as the former 130-pound undisputed champion and when he goes up to 135. So if you play the long game, it could be a pretty smart move for top rank. But I don't think Bob Arum is willing to invest and believe enough in Shakur Stevenson for whatever reason to do that.
I just had that epiphany, bro. I just had that epiphany moment right there when you was going through that. Terrence Crawford is the prime example of what would happen if Shakur Stevenson fought those two guys. Terrence Crawford is criticized for his resume right now because he unified at 140. The guys he fought at 140, a lot of casual fans did not know who they were. But he went for legacy and wanted to be unified, wanted to be undisputed, and fought those guys anyway, and became undisputed. But we see what Terrence Crawford is going through now at welterweight when it comes to try to now state his case for pound, a lot of whether you're an Earl Spence fan or you just a regular boxing fan, you are criticizing Terrence Crawford's resume. If Shakur Stevenson fight these two guys for a legacy and becomes unified, do you think Bob Arum see the same thing happening to Shakur Stevenson when it comes to his legacy? He's putting money into these belts. He's got all the belts. But he gonna have the same issue he had with Terrence Crawford. You think that's why Bob is a little nervous when it comes to that?
Man, that was a great point you made. Like, soon as you said it and you started explaining it, it makes perfect sense, man. I mean, I get where Bob is coming from now. Like, I did not see that. I was just seeing that it was two no name guys. Why put him in the ring with those guys? But like you said, it'll be the same issue he had with Terrence Crawford. Those guys at 135 will be saying the same thing that they were saying about Terrence Crawford. Those guys at 147 said about Terrence Crawford. So Bob Arum said, why only a dummy will do the same thing twice and expect a different results.
Exactly.
An insane person. So it makes sense for Shakur Stevenson to fight a more known fighter at 130, like maybe a little B-Hop, maybe somebody like that. Even though he lost, the trash talk, the way he talked shit about him after the fight, it would kind of be a more sellable fight on ESPN than, let's say, those two guys. And then he had to consider going up to 135 to fight Lomachenko. But is Bob Arum going to protect Lomachenko from Shakur Stevenson? And if he is, why?
Yeah, you asked me that question earlier, and you brought it to my attention too, because I didn't really notice it until you said it. But when the reporter asked Bob that question about Lomachenko, you said it in his face like he didn't want to. It kind of got uncomfortable for him, like he did not want to mention it. And I kind of, my opinion is, man, Lomachenko, he came in the game with so much hype as a guy who was known as the best amateur fighter of all time. 200 and some odd fights with only one defeat. Two-time Olympic gold medalist. He was so dominant in the amateurs. There's no way in the hell the professional ranks will be an issue.
Better than Floyd Mayweather.
Better than Floyd Mayweather. Better than
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. All the barbarian selling points that he tried to do. In his second professional fight, number 2, against Toledo, he lost his second professional fight. Did a great job. I'm not gonna lie. Bob Burnham and ESPN did a great job. They swept that motherfucker completely under the rug. They swept that bitch under the house. It's not even under the rug no more. That bitch under the house. They buried that loss like a mug. A few years later, Lomachenko doing his thing, knocking out a couple of guys he's supposed to win against. Had a tough fight, a scary moment with Linares, got knocked down, but came back and defeated Linares. But wound up losing to a young loudmouth who he was supposed to beat in Lopez. So now there's 2 losses that Lomachenko has that was not expected. So in my opinion, in that short story that I gave, that short soliloquy, like Stephen A. Smith would call it, soliloquy, in that short spill I gave, in my opinion, the reason why Bob Burnham did not want to mention Shakur Stevenson in reference to fighting Lomachenko, because he see what's going to happen. He see the young man. I'm gonna be honest. Shakur Stevenson will probably hurt Lomachenko. In my opinion, this going up to eye test. I'm gonna do some film study just to make sure I see what I see. But if Linares did, I know it was just a simple knockdown. If Linares did and gave the issues to Lomachenko, that I'm gonna be honest, man. Shakur Stevenson is gonna do the same thing that he did, in my opinion, to Valdez. It's just my honest opinion. It's gonna be kind of like that. And Bob Burnham do not want to put that type of money into, which is kind of weird being Bob. So I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. Why wouldn't you do that if you Bob Burnham? Like, you seen what happened with Terrence Crawford, right? You seen how going for legacy wasn't great for your pockets. Going for the big money fights would be better for your pockets. So if you Bob Burnham, why are you protecting Lomachenko when you see the stardom that could be Shakur Stevenson? You think? What you think?
I think you made a good point off air when we talked about it a little bit, and you brought it to my attention. It's Tank Davis. Like you said, he's saving Lomachenko for Tank Davis. Lomachenko has 2 strikes. He lost to Toledo and he lost to Lopez. And Top Rank has done a hell of a job of acting like those losses didn't happen. To the point, you fans, for some goddamn reason, always put him on the pound for pound list. I do not understand it. I don't get it. In the comments, if you tell me why he should be on the pound for pound list, please, over the other fighters up there and what they bring to the table. This guy has 2 losses and lost his last fight. But anyway, like you said, I think he has 2 strikes. He can't afford to lose anymore. They can't cover up any more his flaws or shortcomings. So they're saving him.
He's getting older too.
He's getting older. So they're saving him for Tank Davis. And if he loses Tank Davis, they cashed out. They got a pay-per-view fight. And guess what? Bob Arum still got Shakur Stevenson that's on his way up to fight Tank Davis too. So he can get paid out Tank Davis twice. Rather than pit Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson in the same ring together and let Shakur Stevenson get that win and fight Tank Davis. He said, no, I can get 2 big fights off Tank Davis if I protect Lomachenko. So I think you made a good point that was off air.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think Tank gonna take that fight until Lomachenko shows slow till he completely slows down. I don't see Tank taking that fight because it's Bob Burnham in the way. So last final question, Shakur Stevenson, right? What do you do if you were his handlers? Are you trying to get Bob Burnham to push you towards a legacy fight with the other champions to get undisputed before you move to 135, or jumping straight into 135 and trying to get that Evan Haney versus Kambosos winner? If Bob Burnham allowed him to do that, that is.
Going back what Shakur Stevenson said, I think he's gonna push hard for those champions at 130. But I hate to say it, it's gonna cause some friction between him and Bob. because I don't think Bob is going to want to do it. I think Bob has done a hell of a job of promoting Shakur Stevenson in this last fight. And once again, I'm going to say it again. I think he better thank Terrence Crawford for that. Because I think he feel the pressure from the Terrence Crawford lawsuit to put a black fighter on a pedestal and make it seem like he can promote a black fighter. So he picked the best one he got right now, which is Shakur Stevenson, and trying to build him up to make a case that we did a good job with Terrence Crawford and we can build up a black fighter. So he's reaping the benefits of that lawsuit to me. So I think that they'll try to make that unification fight, but I think it will be a lot of friction between him and Bob Arum because Bob Arum do not like to lose money.
Do you have any idea? This is kind of off topic. You have any idea how many more fights Shakur Stevenson has with Top Rank? I'm about to look that up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you know either.
But from that tweet he put out, he almost was giving him like an ultimatum, like this is what I want, and if you can't do what I need you to do, then pretty much he's saying in a nutshell that he want to go another way. So to me, right. I think he got too many fights left with Top Rank, not the way he talking.
Yeah, he might pull the floor and then pay that $750,000 about his way out of his contract. And Bob don't want that because Shakur Stevenson gonna be big. And when he go up in weight, man, at 135 and fight those guys at 135, Shakur Stevenson is gonna be the name on a lot of people's mouth. You seen how big he was against Valdez, bro. He's a big 130 already, so he definitely gonna fill in at 135. I'm telling you. So if you think he's going to 135 and gonna be too small for those guys, you fooling yourself. I'm being honest. Anything else to add to this topic?
No, I think we covered it all.
Most definitely, man. Well, with that being said, man, this is your favorite channel, man, CTB.
Crawford hits the gas. 7, like a